So you want to go on a social media detox. Maybe you've heard about it from a friend, seen a couple of YouTube videos on it, and heard about how social media corporations are evil and they're out to get you, and dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. But maybe in the back of your head, you've thought that there's a better way. There's got to be a better way than abandoning all connections with the friends and the people that you talk to on a daily basis. What happened to the simple times? The times where we used social media for fun, to share pictures with people because we wanted to keep them as photo albums and to actually connect with people and message people because we like them. The problem is that they're not wrong. Social media companies have an agenda. They want you to stay on their app. I'm sure you've heard the quote, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. Data is worth so much these days. And by default, because companies have a hidden agenda, by default, the apps are not designed to help you connect with other people. The apps are designed to help you stay on the app, to help the companies. So what's the solution? Yes, thankfully, there is a solution. And it starts with the mindset. We're thinking about this all wrong. Social media detoxing basically requires you to drop everything instead of fixing what is wrong and changing the way we use apps and the way the apps are configured so they can work for us. Let me show you what I mean. All right, so the system that I've come up with contains basically 3 parts. I have three parts. The first part is to mute. So on Instagram, there's a feature called mute. I'll show you in a second. Just use it. The second part is to eliminate distractions. And then the third part is to actually engage. So let me just go through my Instagram here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I'm on my Instagram right now, and you can see here that a lot of the stories, if I go to the very end of all my stories, a lot of these stories are grayed out. And that's because I've muted these people because I'm just like, I don't really know you, or, you know, I just don't care about you. You know, it's something personal. I'm sure people don't care about me either. But I sometimes I scroll through my social media and I'm like, bro, I just don't give a shit. So the way you do this is, let's say I'm going through this and I'm like, oh, this person right here, I have no idea who this person is and I want to mute them. So you go to following, you go to mute, and then you get a couple options, right? You can mute their stories, you can mute their posts, or you can mute notes. Notes is something Instagram added and people used it for like a week because you're like, what the fuck is this? But now no one uses it anymore. So you can decide to mute all 3, or if there's someone that has high quality posts and you like their posts, you can mute their posts, or you can just mute their stories, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. And you can do the same with posts. So if I go through my posts, like for this person here, Feline, okay, I think this was a YouTuber. I don't watch her anymore. So I'm just gonna mute everything. I think it's hide on, yeah, and then you go to mute, and then you go mute posts, and then there you go, they're muted. So the first step here is to mute, which is basically to filter out all the stuff that you don't really care about, all the people that you don't care about, essentially. So if you notice on my feed here, I scroll the way down and I hit suggested post, and that's it, right? It was like one post and an ad. And this is how you essentially cater your social media feed to stuff that is relevant and valuable to you. You essentially cut down on all the distraction and all the noise so you can focus on and give your attention to the people that you want to focus on and give your attention to, because your attention, your time and energy, all of that's limited and you don't want to just spend it willy-nilly. So you can also unfollow people, but every now and then, if you meet someone and they're cool and then you stop talking to them for like 3 years and you haven't seen them, it's like, well, you know, I would rather just mute them and keep in touch with them every now and then so I can still message them. So let's move on to the second step. So the second step is to eliminate distractions. So I think you can mute ads too, but I'm not sure if you can hide ads. Yeah, you can't, but you can hide suggested posts. Okay, so I've just played around with this and I don't think you can mute suggested posts forever. Like you can't get rid of the section. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you can. But have you ever had one of those instances where Instagram just randomly suggests you a suggested post in the middle of your content? I think if you snooze it, it gets rid of that, because I've played around with this before. It at least gets rid of that, so you don't have to deal with like the stupid, like, oh, there's this random video that like allows you to keep on scrolling because you're on Instagram Reels now, and now you're there for like 47 hours or whatever. Yeah, you can get rid of that, but you can't get rid of the suggested posts at the very bottom. So there is a way to do this. Manage suggested content, snooze suggested content and feed for 30 days. And then the third step that I mentioned is engage. So you want to go to people's stories and actually talk to them like you would if you were in person, right? Engage, talk to them, and then see who's responsive and post shit that you want to post about and actually care about. That's also another step that I'll throw in there as like a bonus. Just mute your notifications, because on my Facebook and Instagram, I just have pretty much everything muted. If messages are silent, like silent notifications, here I can like show you guys that. All right, so I just messaged myself on Instagram and you can see that it didn't alert me. Like, you know how on some phones there's that like notification thing that pops up at the top of your phone? It didn't alert me. So what does that mean? That means if you're on your phone doing important things, you don't get constantly spammed by messages because they're in your silent notifications. So then if you scroll down, it will show you your messages and then you can view all your messages there. So what I've also done is I've just muted certain things as well. So let me show you my Instagram. You can kind of just copy it if you want. For Facebook, I think I've just muted literally everything on Facebook. I don't use Facebook anymore. I still have the app on my phone, but I use Facebook Messenger because it's way less distracting. But yeah, the entire philosophy behind this and why I wanted to make this video is I just found social media detoxing a really extreme way of cutting off all connection from your friends and people who message you and people who you have conversations with, because there is inherent value in social media. People use it to scale businesses, and in the context of relationships, it's a really good way to keep in touch with people. It just depends on how you use it. So limit the distractions, mute people you don't give a shit about, and actually engage with people that you do. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you found this useful, like, subscribe, all the YouTube things, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.